kind of English exercises should you do? That's what I'm gonna talk about in this video. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me, and if it's your first time here, make sure to subscribe because every week I post different kinds of English lessons to make sure that you become a better and more confident English speaker, so consider subscribing. Anyways, my friends, let's dive into the content. What kind of English exercises should you do? You know, I get this question a lot. Teacher, what kind of exercises do I do? Or what are the best exercises? Should I just listen? Should I just study vocabulary? What do you think? I'm gonna give you some ideas of what I believe will help you. None of the answers you give me or you think of are wrong. Vocabulary is important, listening is important, but perhaps it's the way you do these exercises that could be wrong. So the first thing I want you to do is analyze information. This is the type of exercise you need to do. Whether you're reading or listening, you should analyze the information you are receiving. Okay, so the best type of English exercise you can do involves analyzing information. And why am I saying this here? Well, the problem is that many English learners, they watch a lesson, they listen to a podcast, or they watch someone speaking in English, or they watch a TED video, and they don't go through the process of analyzing the information they have received and actively interpreting that piece of information. And no matter what you listen, no matter what you watch, it's important that you spend some time interpreting that information and not simply, I understand, that's good. No, remember, you're practicing, you're doing an exercise. Many English learners believe that to do an exercise, they need a book and a list of exercises, and no. You can do an exercise anytime, anywhere, with pretty much anything you have in hand, okay? So when you sit down to watch something or to listen to something like a podcast or watching a video, you can't just hit play and expect me to believe you're studying. That's not how it works, okay? Now, just watching or listening to the materials you are using won't help you analyze the information. And just looking at me and saying, I understand, that's not enough either. Do some kind of exercise. And the best way to do it, the best ways to do it are by writing and discussing the information you have just received. So, but teacher, I don't have anyone to talk to. I'll get there. So after you watch, or during the process of watching a video, or as you are listening to a podcast, you can take notes. You can take notes on key phrases that will help you remember the information you are receiving. After you finish listening or watching to a certain material, you can describe the information you remember, and you will be surprised. You will not remember as much as you believed you would, because sometimes we believe we understand everything, and okay, that's okay, but can you put the pieces of information together after you understand all the words? Can you put the information together and give me a good explanation of what the information is all about? So that's analyzing information, and that's a very powerful exercise you should be doing. By writing, you will be having a very active moment of analyzing information and really getting down to what you truly remember and understand. Now, discussing involves speaking. And you can do that if you have a cell phone, if you have technology, my friend. There are hundreds, thousands of apps you can download where you can create a record of audios that you make. And On a weekly basis, you can record yourself describing the information you have been watching and listening to. I do this when I'm studying, and I believe you should do the same. That way, you will be doing a great kind of English exercise that many English learners don't do. Now, the next thing I recommend is grammar practice. I'm not saying that you need to buy a grammar book and do grammar drills. Grammar drills are exercises. Answer the question, match the phrases. Now, if you like those kind of exercises, they can be helpful. I did many of these exercises, but I think you can do something more practical with grammar practice that involves analyzing information, but practicing the grammar you study. So as you watch a video lesson explaining simple past, explaining future, how to make phrases, every week I have grammar videos here on my channel. You need to practice that, creating your own examples. That's a much more efficient and active way to practice grammar. Every Tuesday, I post a grammar lesson. And at the end of the grammar lesson, I always ask a question. And this question is not a random question. No, it's a question that will help you practice the lesson. And that way, I'm helping you put the grammar that you have just watched into practice. And you can do that by watching any video from any teacher here on YouTube. And as you watch that lesson, as the teacher is giving you explanations, write down short explanations, write examples. If you're learning simple past, if you truly want to master simple past, you have to practice, create examples, even if they're wrong. It's fine. It's not a big deal if you make mistakes. The goal is to be active, to really do an efficient kind of English exercise that will help you master all the English skills, okay? And hey, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps the channel grow and it helps me understand what kind of lessons you enjoy, okay? Now, vocabulary practice. I know lots of people who absolutely love flashcards. And it's okay, there's a misspelling in flashcards, so it's letter H is missing. So although the flashcards may be very useful, many English learners are doing it wrong. They just create a new flashcard, they insert the word, they insert the translation of the word, and that's it. They set up some reminders to tell them to see the word, but that's not really how it should be. You know, you can have flashcards, and I encourage you to create and save flashcards. But if you want to have a productive vocabulary practice and do vocabulary exercises that will help you, we go back to the same steps that I'm giving you here in this lesson. You need to turn your study time into an active study time. And you can use the flashcards, but how about changing the examples every time you check them? So I know that some apps in some apps you can set reminders to help you look at the flashcards again. So how about every time you check your flashcard, you change the example? Create a new example, and you can do that orally. You can record your voice again, speaking a different kind of example. You can try in the flashcard, as you write in the flashcard, you can try to write your explanations, not just a dictionary explanation, but what you truly understand from that word. Use your words to explain that expression, that verb, that adjective, that word. That's a much more productive way to do vocabulary exercise. And as you move on and study more words, examples. And here I am repeating my explanations because the key to learning English or any other language or any other subject is repetition. Maybe we change a little bit of the way we explain repetition, but at the end of the day, our brain likes repetition and needs it. And finally, guys, turn your practice into an active practice. I know that many of you love Netflix time, but Netflix time is not an active practice time unless you change the way you study. And I have videos here on my channel where I talk about how to watch TV series to learn English, how to watch movies to learn English. So make sure to check those previous videos that I have here on my channel. But you don't need to, what I'm trying to say is you don't need to study for hours and hours to learn English, to become active, to really improve your English, but you need quality. And don't fool yourself into thinking that by watching Netflix you're improving your English, because you're not. Unless you do something about that information, you're not truly improving your skills, your English skills. Now, if you enjoy Netflix, keep it up, enjoy it, have a good time. But when it's time to practice and study, it's time to practice and study. And Netflix may not be the best place for you to do that, okay? Unless you change the way you approach TV series, documentaries, and movies. But that's a whole new video for you guys. It's a completely different subject. And I can make another video to talk about that, okay? Anyways, my friends, what kind of exercises, English exercises, do you do on a regular basis? Okay? I want to know here in the comments, because maybe that can give me some ideas of other videos that I can make for you guys. Other than that, make sure to hit the like button and share this lesson with your friends. Why not? Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.